Outwardly, he's a sloppy middle-aged man, but secretly, a master from a ninja clan. To maintain an ordinary life, he married a plain-looking woman on purpose. Each morning, when his wife goes jogging, he slides open a hidden wall compartment, retrieving gear for intense ninja training. Hearing his wife return, he pretends to be a sweaty mess who just woke up, trashing the house as cover. Clothes are scattered everywhere, garbage is left unattended, and the refrigerator door is wide open, all to divert his wife's attention. She doesn't know her sloppy husband is actually an Igoryu ninja. The man's name is Goro. His company appears to be a courier service, but covertly provides elite security. Little does he know, his wife is also a hidden master. When jogging, she casually activates a speed boost that defies physics. The woman, Yin Yang, works at a hospital by day. Her true identity, Koguryu Ninja. Today she's tasked with exposing a corrupt politician. Meanwhile, Goro's ninja agency vows to protect that same politician. That evening, returning home, Yin Yang sees Goro's messy shoes, and her anger boils over while he's glued to video games. To make matters worse, he demands dinner immediately, ordering Yin Yang to cook. "I work all day." She fumes. "Now I must baby this man-child." Yet her heart softens, and she cooks despite her rage. Goro finds new complaints. "I had curry for lunch. This makes me sick." He prefers junk food snacks. When Yin Yang discovers her prized book used as a coaster, she reaches breaking point. This marriage is over. Fleeing to their bedroom, she sobs bitterly. Goro gazes at their wedding photo, remembering happier times, and finally self-reflecting. The next day, he apologizes sincerely, planning a romantic dinner and swearing not to disappoint. Touched by his sincerity, Yang Ying forgives him silently, but first, her mission calls. She slips into a shadowy alley, launching a drone over Parliament to capture damning evidence. Meanwhile, Goro's security team mobilizes to protect the politician, hoping to leave early for dinner, but a drone breaches their airspace. Reacting instantly, Goro hurls a shuriken, destroying the drone midair. Yang Ying's feed cuts out, so she triggers self-destruct, and the drone explodes. With dinner approaching, she prepares for the date, but the security breach forces all-night lockdown orders. Thus, Goro misses dinner again. Yang Ying's hope dies, and divorce papers are filed the next morning. That night, Yang Ying infiltrates Parliament building alone, neutralizing guards with ease, picking secret vault locks, and slipping into the office to document evidence. But something's wrong. The politician sits motionless, dead from poisoning, leaving Yang Ying as the prime suspect. Fleeing, she's spotted by Goro. And the death alarms Igaju ninjas. "I didn't see their face," Goro claims, but the moves confirm it's Kogaju operatives. To lure out the killer, they decide to fight fire with fire at the charity event, hosted by the Future Party, staging a bomb terror attack. When the Future Party's loyalists, like the Iga ninjas, come to protect their leader, they deliberately leaked this intel online, which naturally caught Yang Ying's attention, so she decided to defuse the bomb herself. To get their ninja father's help, the sisters bribed him with a bottle of soju. That night, intel arrived through scanning a QR code on a restaurant menu, and she located the bomb placement. Immediately taking action, she caught the bomber red-handed, and using his intel on location and defusal method, she cut the designated wire. At next day's charity event, everyone's hearts were in their throats. As the countdown ticked closer, the bomb's timer stopped at 000 without exploding, and the bomb failed to detonate, so Yang Ying finally breathed a sigh of relief. The hidden Iga ninjas were stunned. And then came the plan change. Sayaka immediately issued new orders. There's a backup bomb planted at the photo op location, with detonation in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Yang Ying received identical intel from her father, but the exact location remained unclear. With time running out, she rushed to evacuate the crowd. Goro recognized the danger, and chased after her immediately. At the critical moment, he tackled her to safety. But the outcome shocked everyone again. "What's happening now?" The panicked crowd scattered as Goro rushed to check the situation, discovering Yang Ying had sprained her ankle. Her sister Suzume approached and asked, "Was this your doing?" Earlier, Suzume, disguised as male, had slipped away to the back of the photo backdrop and discovered the hidden time bomb. With seconds remaining, she threw the bomb skyward. Yang Ying asked how she knew the location, and Suzume produced a schematic from their father's intel network. That night, walking home, Goro noticed Yang Ying's injury and offered to carry her. Though initially resistant, his sincerity softened her, and she accepted his help. Remembering his life-risking rescue, warmth filled her heart. Back home, Goro tended to her ankle, and Yang Ying gradually forgave him. Just as reconciliation seemed certain, Goro accidentally knocked her wallet open, spilling its contents, including the bomb schematic. Alone in her room, doubts grew in Yang Ying's mind, as the day's coincidences seemed too perfect. Why did he appear then? This location, the bomb placement, could it be he knew about the bomb all along? That day, she waited at home, sharpening her knife for her husband's return. Meanwhile, her husband had hidden a dagger in the flower bed. At the sound of the door opening, The wife approached with her blade drawn just as the husband entered. Earlier that day, curious, she approached with a gentle pull, and she discovered a hidden chamber. It was filled with weapons and ancient texts, so she grabbed a book from the shelf labeled Secret Iga Ninja Archives. Now she knew her husband was an Iga ninja, her clan's sworn enemy. Meanwhile, Goro recognized the figure in security footage, moving exactly like his wife. The map he'd found in her bag confirmed it. She was Koga Ninja. That night, the two opposing factions decided to settle things once and for all, outwardly polite, but hid daggers behind their smile. What seemed a romantic dinner became a deadly mind game, and neither could afford to lose. Good wine deserves good dishes. Yin Yang brought out sizzling steak, but as Goro reached for cutlery, Yin Yang stopped him. Cold sweat dripped down his neck. Yin Yang sliced steak onto Goro's plate and said, "Better eat it hot." Goro's hand trembled. Was the meat poisoned? He was scared out of his mind. Yin Yang saw through him, so she took the first bite, easing his suspicion. They began their deadly dinner, but this fragile peace wouldn't last. That night, both vowed silently, "Next time, I'll finish this at dawn." Their battle resumed after countless clashes, yet neither gained advantage as their stalemate continued. Then the doorbell rang. Yin Yang's crab delivery had arrived. Reluctantly, they paused, saying, "Thank you," to which someone remarked, "What a loving couple," but they replied, "Not really," before being interrupted with, "Stop, the crabs will spoil." Realizing, they said, "Oh right." To prevent ambushes, they carried the crate together, and after storing it, the battle resumed with an exasperated, and so the two fought from morning till afternoon, with neither gaining the upper hand. 300 rounds later, neither would yield. As dusk approached, both were completely exhausted. Their fierce physical combat morphed into passionate verbal sparring. Another 300 rounds ensued. The drained couple gulped water to recover. Though once considering divorce over clan differences, they now overcame prejudice and reunited. But Goro's ex sought to exploit this vulnerability. She privately approached Yin Yang. "If you can't stay with Goro, may I stand by him instead?" Later, Kyoto approached Goro again, subtly probing his thoughts. "About that divorce you mentioned before, I've changed my mind." "Why?" "I finally realized Yin Yang is the only one for me, so I'll keep striving." This left Kyoto deeply disappointed. She began secretly following Goro and Yin Yang, determined to gather concrete evidence to expose Yin Yang's identity as Koga Ninja, forcing them apart under social pressure. That night, Yin Yang's sister was harassed by thugs, so Goro threw a shuriken, knocking the dagger away. Yin Yang followed with an aerial kick, flooring the attacker, and when the thug tried to flee, she spun with another kick, completely subduing him. Together they saved Shaka, but unseen, Kyoto witnessed everything. Combined with surveillance footage, Yin Yang's ninja identity was confirmed, so Kyoto stormed to Goro's home that night to confront him about Yin Yang's secret. Meanwhile, the couple remained blissfully unaware in their romance as they leaned for a passionate kiss, but a mysterious call interrupted them, only to hear eerie music playing. "We must flee, for Koga clan." This music is coded danger signal. As they prepared to escape, the doorbell rang unexpectedly, and Iga ninjas, Kyoto, and Otonashi arrived. Yin Yang acted swiftly, clearing dinner traces before hiding in the attic, while Goro attempted a clumsy deception. The tall Koga woman must be Yin Yang. Kyoto produced rescue footage as evidence, and Goro claimed karate training, explaining her combat skill. After intense questioning, Goro miraculously deflected all accusations, but Kyoto saw through the lies and searched for Yin Yang's presence, finding a warm rice cooker and 2 dinner sets. She rushed upstairs, but found nobody, unaware that Yin Yang had escaped through the window. During their mission together, they were ambushed, and Goro took a poisoned shuriken, saving Yin Yang but dying himself. Yin Yang extracted the shuriken, smelling deadly poison, meaning the spring extension technique could revive him, an exclusive Koga ninjutsu. Assuming the ritual stance, she chanted the revival incantation, channeling Yang energy as she pressed her hands to Goro's chest. Life force surged between them, and energy waves pulsated fiercely. Miraculously, Goro revived, shortening Yin Yang's lifespan. After a brief recovery, they resumed their mission, infiltrating the Iga leader's mansion to find her mother's killer, but the enemies were prepared, surrounding them completely. They demanded Yin Yang use the revival jutsu to resurrect his son for escape, but she refused firmly, explaining the technique works only once. Saito called her a liar, ordering their capture while punching and kicking Goro and threatening Yin Yang to cast the spell. Just then, Yin Yang's father descended from above like a shadow. The standoff crackled with tension. Saito knew he couldn't win. "Kill me," Saito demanded, baring his throat. Yin Yang's father hesitated, his blade lowered slowly. "You broke our code," Yin Yang's father growled. "Hurting your own men, you're no leader." Shame burned through Saito. He couldn't face his clan again. Koga reinforcements arrived at that moment. Yin Yang watched, tears glistening. Her vengeance was complete. Aftermath came with a letter. Goro's hands trembled holding it. "Meet me when our clans make peace," Yin Yang had written. He ate her final meal in silent grief. 2 years passed. the Koga leader, got imprisoned. His crimes exposed. Meanwhile, Iga welcomed a wise ruler who abolished their marriage ban. At their old meeting spot, Goro waited. Then a familiar silhouette appeared. Yin Yang stood there, smiling. Even ninja clans can break their ancient taboos. So why do we ordinary people give up on each other? This is Amber. See you next time for more stories.